Hey, what's up and welcome back. So I just released a Redstone challenge map, and in this video I'm going to go over the setup and rules, and then I'll do a playthrough to show you how to solve everything. If you want to try it yourself, there's a download link in the description, and I've also included timestamps to each level in the playthrough, so if you get stuck, come back and see how it's done. This is a difficult map, so don't feel bad if it takes you a while, or if you have to refer to the solutions in this video more than once. The goal is to have fun and maybe learn a thing or two about Redstone. Alright, so once you're in game here, you should spawn at level 1, which is where we're at. And before you get started, there's just a few things we need to do to get you set up. First off, make sure you're in peaceful. So hit escape, go to options, double check that you're in peaceful here. That'll prevent you from starving while you're playing the game. Then come back and click open to LAN. Allow cheats on, make sure your game mode is set to survival, and hit start LAN world. Allowing cheats lets us have command blocks that'll reset your inventory and stuff between levels. Alright, next up is rules. So if you come over here, you can read this book. You don't have to if you're watching the video, but you might want to step through it anyway. So rule 1, you got to play in survival. Rule 2, you can only break things that you have placed. No breaking the map to get around things. Rule 3 is kind of similar. Pistons that you place can only move other things that you place. And then there's kind of an implied rule 4, which would be don't use any mods or anything that alter the way the game works. So level 1 here, burnout. So over here we have the redstone. We got to figure out how to get through this door here. And don't have anything in the inventory, so we can see that it's getting locked right here by this comparator fade out clock, which is being constantly powered by this torch. So we have to get this torch to turn off. And judging by the level name, we probably have to burn it out, which means this repeater has to be on 1 or 2 ticks because otherwise it won't blink fast enough to burn the torch out. And to get the repeater to go off, we have to trigger this note block down here, which will power the observer, powering repeater, and so on. However, we have some glass in the way, so I'm just going to get rid of that. And now I can hit the note block under here. However, the glass keeps getting sucked back down and put in the way, so that's problematic. Down here, we can see we have a clock powering this, which is pulsing. If we just put that on 1 tick, sometimes it won't always work on 1 tick, but well, maybe it does. Anyway, once you get this to a solid, unvarying value, then you can come over here and just punch this a whole bunch. Maybe we have to turn that to 2 ticks there. Otherwise, I think we're punching it too fast. Now we can see the clock changing. It burnt out, door opened, and we can go through. So level 2, Ouroboros, or however you say that, Ouroboros? I don't know. There's different spellings online. I can't ever figure it out. Anyway, for this one, we have a lectern here. We've got a couple pages. We've got some pistons and stuff underneath here. And then we have some redstone holding this door closed with a torch. So presumably the idea is to get power into this block to turn off the torch to open the door. And the only power source we have is this lectern. We could use the pressure plate, but you can't place anything on top of leaves. So unfortunately we can't use that here. So by changing the pages, we can get a pulse of output. So if we just go like that, and then watch the redstone down here. If I change the pages, you can see we get a pulse. So the idea is to then somehow get that power over there. And if we just take the output, try to bring it over like this, we end up 3 blocks short. So we have to somehow work the power over there. And we probably have to use this bit in the middle here. So if we can look at this, we see there's a piston under here, so we can push this yellow block up. So to do that, we need to power that piston. We can't power it through the face of the block, so we can't power it through there. So we're probably going to have to use this observer here. To get that observer into place, we're going to have to do a quick pulse to kick this piston over here, and then we'll take that, bring this over to above this piston, and then this should pull it back, then powering that one to go up. Now we have to run the power over there still, so if we come through this block, read it out the other side, we still don't quite have enough. We're still 2 away. So one thing we can do is we can create an intermediary power source here, like this. So just create this, and when this is powered, it will then power itself, so it'll stay powered forever, and we can reach that over here. So like that. Take this away, we see it's still powered. And this is kind of where the Ouroboros name is, because that's the snake eating its own tail. So this is the repeater powering itself type thing. And again, if we reach over here, we're still 1 block away. We got to do one more thing and realize that we can mirror this. So we can create this same thing just off the other side, like that. And then we could take this one away. And now, instead of the redstone stopping here, it stops there, which is our 1 block that we needed to get all the way to the blue block over there. That lets us get through. And we are on to the 3rd one, which is called Under Pressure. And so here we have a bunch of pressure plates over a redstone circuit that is presumably holding this door locked over here. So we need to turn on this torch to power this fade out clock here, which will hold the door open for a short time, because it looks like we're getting inverted here, probably a torch underneath this lamp. So then to turn this torch off, we're going to have to turn both this line off and this line off. And this line looks like it has constant power, 15 power coming in the back here because it's on top of a redstone block. And so the only way to turn this power off is to change this comparator to compare mode, and then subtract, or change it to subtract mode and have subtract the 15 coming from this torch over here. Or we notice that if we stand on this pressure plate, it will also create 15. So that's how we're going to get this side off. Then we have to get this side to turn off over here. And this is coming from what looks like an AND circuit, so both this and this have to be on to turn the torches off to then turn this off. And we also notice that there's an extra repeater facing into the middle, so this one will have to be on and this one will have to be off at some point. So let's see what we got here. There's a gold pressure plate. We're getting 1 signal strength out of it, which actually doesn't do anything, so that's not going to be useful. So if we stand on this one here, we can see it turns that lamp off, and when we move away, turns it back on. However, it's also powering through here. So what we're going to want to do is have this one stay on a little bit longer so that this will turn off, and this one will still be on, turning the torch off for a few extra ticks. That should solve this side, just standing on that with that change there. Now to get this torch to turn off, we're going to have to turn this one on. We can do that just by standing on this one, giving it 1 power, powering it through here. As soon as we turn this on, you notice that it no longer powers that comparator over there. We're no longer subtracting from this line. That means this is going to have to be on while we're standing on that. If I just do a quick jump over here, that looks like it's going to be kind of hard to do. So we'll probably have to look for another way to do it. And we have this wooden pressure plate back here, which turns both of these on. And then when I step off of it, you'll see it gives a quick pulse there. So that's kind of a falling edge pulse generator. Now I could extend this like that, and then we should get a longer pulse. Yep, which will turn this off. However, there might be a better way to do it. If instead we put some delay on this one, then what we can do is we can lock it in the on position, keeping this torch off for the duration of, well, this fade out clock underneath here is keeping the circuit powered. All right, so now we've kind of identified the different parts that we want. We know we have to stand on this at some point. We know we have to set this off at some point, and we know we have to eventually stand over here while this side is off. Now we just have to figure out the order to do this, because this does it at the end. So when this fade out clock runs out is when it turns this torch and this block off. We have to do that. This has to turn off while this is on. And then we have to stand on this also while that is on. So I think order-wise, we'll have to do this first so that the falling edge happens during that. So if you just jump over here and then run up here. Yep, there we go. All right, so that brings us to the next level, level 4, spin to win. All right, so let's see what we got here. We've got a mess of repeaters down here facing into a dropper. If I read the sign, it says reward 1 redstone button. Okay, so if we get a button, we have to get through this door, and I noticed the door is not inset here. We could probably just place the button anywhere around the door and open that up. So I think the goal is to get the button out of the dropper there. Now the dropper is getting powered by a number of repeaters. So in order to get the button out, we're going to have to unpower all those repeaters and then power at least one of them back up to get it to shoot into this barrel here. So we can figure that out, but let's figure out what's going on up here. So we have a item frame with an arrow here that we can spin around, and it looks like there is a comparator back here, which is going to output some signal strength based on our thing here. So we can see that goes up to 3 now. Turn it a little more, and now we're up to 5. And that's getting read out to the left here through that comparator and through this one. On this side, we're subtracting whatever that value is, 5 from 6, so this should only be 1 over here. However, we're also getting power from this side through that torch. So that's what this circuit's kind of going to do, is it's going to, as we turn this up, the power is going to extend out this way, because we see it's 5 there, so it'll be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And then 6 minus 5 is 1. So this will be 1. I have 2 zeros here. So it will, based on where we spin this, you'll see we turn off different repeaters down there. So start on that one, it'll turn off the first. Go here, it'll turn off the first 2. One more, it'll turn off 2 and 3. This turns off 3 and 4. And that turns off 4 and 5 and 5. All right, so now that's pretty much all we need to know about that back circuit, is that it'll turn off 2 at a time, and the farther we spin this around, the farther those 2 travel down the line here. All right, so now we got to figure out the repeaters. So we need this to turn off, right? And since it's mirrored, they're going to be similar on both sides. So we have to turn this one off, which means we have to turn this one off. And since we have to do 2 things, we probably have to lock this in the off position, which means that we're going to have to lock this in the on position. And first we're going to have to turn it on. So if we turn this one off, it will just turn it off for a moment and won't do anything. If we do the first 2, we can see now this is locked on, but this is also locked on, and we don't want that. So what we need to do is we need to turn this one. This one has to be off when this one turns on, and we can see there's a little bit of a delay here. This one actually has 2 ticks. So if we go back and Need to reset this right here. Oop. All right, so now this is reset to off. We go to the first one, press the button, and then spin it. There, now we're locked in the off position because this turned off and then we spun it. So this one a little bit later turned off. Then it let the power through. Then they both turned back on. And this one was locked in the on position, which locked that one in the off position. Now this is off. This one was off from before. So now we also are going to have to turn this one off. It's probably going to be something similar. And if we know that position 1 here just does 1 on the end, 2, 3, 4, something like that. Nope, and we lost this one over here, so we can go back and that. And so we got that back. One more maybe. Ah, there we go. So this is turned off now. So we have 3 off, and this one's on. Still no button. So now we have to turn this one off without turning these off. And it should be fine, even if these go back on. This should be enough of a delay. We just have to get this to pulse once. All right, so that does only the first one. This does first and second. This does second and third. Yep. I think if we press that, get power back. Yep, there's our button. All right, so we could just take this over here, press it there, and we are on to the next level. This is level 5, Bridge Builder. So just kind of looking around, it looks like our next location is across to the other side, and we have to somehow build a bridge out here. So looking down, we've got a bunch of yellow blocks down there, and there's kind of yellow going across here. So we probably, and there's a hole, we probably have to push these blocks out of the hole and build our bridge. And we've got a bunch of pistons around here and different things we can click to probably set them off. And then it looks like we have a couple back-to-back sticky pistons, which are like little caterpillar flying machines. So if I just go like this, you can see I can fly them across. All right, so we have to push these out and make a bridge. So first thing, we need to get a couple of them in line here that I can use this to push them out. So let's push this over like that. And then let's push this out. Actually, first we want to make a gap here. And all right, so now we've got a gap. We can push this piston over to push that out more. Now to get this across to the other side, we have to push this button first, and then this button. And then this one will retract first, and pulling it away from this one over here. Now we've got something here. We can hit that, which will trigger the observer here, quasi-powering the piston, causing it to spit the block out. And then we can move this one over here by pressing that and that. And then we'll just do it again. Okay, now we have some stuff in line here. We need something in this position, so let's pass our piston back over. Then we can pull it over, fly it like that. And now when we hit this, we've pushed one block out. Really see anything there. Now we need to push this block over so we can push that out. We're just going to fly these guys back over like that. Nope. And we want to push that, push it. Then pushing these two. So I pushed it together, and then I had enough blocks to push this center one over. Now if I push it back, and then there we pushed another one out. Now I could probably push this side, push another one out. Then maybe I can push this one over. All right. There we got another one out. We've kind of got this guy stuck here. Maybe if I kick that over and push this, it'll pull the piston back. Yeah, I have to get this into this position here and this into that position so that I can push them all out. So if this guy's extended, when it tries to retract, then it won't retract. So if I go like this, oh, not quite. Not quite. There we go. And now if I push this piston out here, and then I push this one, it should push all these together over into the right spot. So that and over. And then it grabs my piston, but that's okay. We can push this out here. And now we've got this block kind of in the similar situation where we have to get it over here so that we can push it out. And we can push it here, but that means we need a couple blocks here so we can push it over. We're just going to move this flyer back over. Like that. And then we have to move it into the middle. So we'll push this. That to stop. Oop, we gotta do this one, then that one. We'll pull it back, and then now when we push this one out, we can push these two over and get it into the right spot. That. Alright, but now we need some of our pistons back over on this side, so we're just gonna take and pass it across like that. Pick this one up, and then our little caterpillar motion back over. All right, so now we've got a bunch of these yellows going out here, but if I come down here, I don't think I can make that gap yet. So that means we're probably going to have to cannibalize some of these pistons here. Yeah, so let's do that. Oop. And now we have to get these over there, but there's no way to power them from here. So maybe we have to treat them just like we did before with the yellow. All right, so let's just grab them here, push one over, and then I'll march these guys over here. And then pull that in. Oop. All right, so now we got another piston in the right spot there. Let's just pass this guy back over. That. Pull this one in. March it over, and then now we can push this guy out like that. All right, so now we pulled this one into position for the next time. Now we have to move this down and over, just like we did with the other ones. We'll just march this back over like that. And now this is in place, so when we push this down, we can suck it back in. Like that. And just spit it out. And this goes over, that goes over. We got it in place. All right, I don't think we can do any more than that. We'd have to disassemble this, and I just don't think we can do that. See how close we are. All right, yeah, this looks much better. So we're just gonna get a running start and die. So yeah, this is problematic, but I am just going to, we're gonna fly back over there. So there is a bed over here that I was meant to sleep in, or reset my spawn. So make sure you do that when you get here. So if I do miss that jump, you will respawn here. All right, let's try this jump one more time. Nice. All right, made it. Good to know. If you do end up falling and forgetting to reset your thing, just go into creative and fly back over here. You could resolve everything and some of this stuff will be already set up, but yeah, no need to do it twice. All right, so now level 6, Pipe Dream. Interesting. So we've got a bunch of stuff underneath here. Power going this way. There's a trap door, so it looks like I'm going to want to fall down here. And we can see a torch here, so we're going to have to turn this off. Let's see what we got in the box. All right, so we got some redstone dust, some repeaters. See what we can do with that. Let's just kind of examine this circuit real quick. So in order to turn that off, we have to turn this redstone off, or to turn the torch on. Turn this stuff off, which means both these torches have to go off. This and that have to be on, and this has to be off. So first things first, to turn this on, it looks like the redstone block has to get shifted over. So we know this has to be over here, and to turn this off, the redstone block can't be here. So we know the redstone block has to be in this position. Now to turn this torch off, it looks like it will turn off briefly whenever this piston fires. Let's just try doing that. This is probably too easy. Yeah, so these turn off. When this gets pushed out, these turn off, right? But this is already done pulsing off, so it never, the redstone over there never actually turns off. So we need to find a way to probably move this block over here and then activate the piston, so that when this pulse goes through, this will already have been in the correct position. So to do that, we're going to have to spit this block somehow with that sticky piston. And I've got a couple repeaters to do this. So back in the under pressure level, we did see that the circuit had a pulse generator. So if I can remember how to build that, we need to generate a pulse above this. So I think if we come out like that, redstone over there, and then we have to power both of these. So we got the button here. All right, so this is going to be our pulse generator, because it's going to power both. It'll turn this off, and then when it unlocks, it'll be powered for a split second, which will then pulse the piston with the quasi connectivity. There we go. All right, so now this is in the correct position. So we have both of these off. The only one that's on is this torch here. But if we reactivate this piston now, say we turn it on, then it should pulse this off and the door should open. However, when we do that, it's going to pull the block back, so we're going to have to be quick about it. So we need as much time delay, because presumably we're going to have to press the button and then run. We need as much time delay as we can before reactivating this piston. So if we just see what we could do here. We got that. that, and then we got, yeah, see that won't reach back around. What if we go here? This is where you're going to have to experiment around. Yeah, see, we're only going to get 2 repeaters worth in here as well. And technically, we could go something like... Oh, there's my redstone dust. You go something like that. That would quasi-power the thing. But there's no way for it to get an update. So I think we have to be more creative about this. So what if we come over here like that, use this to kind of get an extra angle, an extra distance worth, and then we can reach up. All right, so let's add some ticks to that and try this real quick. Oh, I wasn't fast enough. All right, so we're gonna have to be more careful, and now we have to repulse this. But that did look like the solution there. We'll set this guy up. And we got it spit out. Got repeaters, redstone dust, these on max. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go like this and just creep forward till I barely, there we go. We can see the button kind of lit up there, highlighted, so we know we can reach it. And so I'm just going to click it and then move backward as fast as possible. Oh, and I was not fast enough. One more time. That's a pretty tight tolerance there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That, dump. Yeah, I definitely was a little delayed after the click here. Hey, there we go. And it looks like we were bouncing on a slime block there. All right, so made it on to the next level. This one is level 7, redundant. So it looks like instead of going through a door, we have to jump up to that ledge. And there is a slime block launcher here and a mess of circuitry. So let's kind of start from the end. We need this. This is getting observed, which will then power the piston. All right, so we need this redstone dust to change because it's getting observed, so it can be on or off, or it can just change value. So right now what's powering it is this 15 over here is coming through, and this 15 over here. So right away we can probably turn this off by getting some subtraction power from over here with this repeater. Then there's going to be power coming through here maybe, and this one we have to reduce as well. So we're probably going to have to subtract off of here from this one. And the only way to get power in here is through this comparator line. So we give it a bunch of power, it's going to immediately shut itself off and it'll never subtract anything there. So I think we have to delay this. So we have a second where it's powering this and not that. Ooh, and then over here, it's going to be feeding back into this too, which will happen before this goes off because there's a bunch of delay here. So we need to find a way to only power 3 out of this comparator, so that we don't get to this line. So to power 3 out of here, we're coming from a repeater, which will give 15. So this is going to have to subtract over here something, some value. Well, it's going to have to subtract 12, right? Because 15 minus 12 will be 3, which will bring it to here, which is long enough to get here and not long enough to get there. We're going to have to subtract 12 out of here. So for now, let's go in here and let's just set this up to 12. Right, because that'll have 12 power coming in here, 15. All right. And let's see the rest of the circuit. We've got another one of those pulse generators. So it's going to right now create a short pulse over here, which won't actually set this off. So we'll have to lengthen that pulse like that. We only need 2. All right, so when this goes off, it is going to lock this. We want to make sure that the power gets through before it locks it. It should do. This is only falling edge. Or actually, what if we just lock this on? So go like this. And then we can get it on the rising edge. Let's just press this button. Yeah, so this locks it on. And then this holds it on there. All right, and then this locks that on. Cool. And the power should be long enough to get over here, which will subtract this. All right, we notice that we're still getting power to that repeater though. If I come over here, see it's on. Oh, and that's because we've got 12 coming out of here. We've got 15, 14, 13, 12. That should never cause a problem. But this is 13, so we got 15, 14. So we've got 12, and we're comparing against 13 here, which is going to stop our 12 signal from going through, which is what's letting this 15 signal. So if we subtract, or we just need to make this value be small enough that it doesn't subtract off there. So if we put this on subtract, then this is 15, 14, 13. 15 minus 13 is 2. 2 minus 2 compared to 12 won't shut it off. And then 15 minus 12 is 3. Let's try that. It looked like it got it for a second. Got it for a second. And then something happened and it didn't. See how this was 0 and then it expanded up? Maybe it's still a problem. Oh. This is 15, 14, 13. Which is then comparing against this. So we actually... Oh, no, because this should be 15, 12. All right. All right, one more time. Oh, this guy's turning off. All right. So I think what we have to do here is make this signal strength even higher. So since this is constantly outputting 2, instead of doing a compare, we can do a subtract here. But then we're going to have to up this by 2. This is 14, and then that'll always be higher than whatever value this is, so it'll never turn that one off. And this will subtract 2, so it'll go down the 12 we want, which will come over here and subtract off 15, which will be 3, which won't be enough to turn this off. It will get here. It should power that. But 3, and it'll be 1 at this point. So since 1 is coming into this subtract and 2 is coming into the subtract, it always takes the higher of the 2. It doesn't do both. So it'll just take the 2, so it actually won't interfere here. Let's try this. Hey, there we go. So we got the thing to go. We just need to actually run over there and do it. All right, gonna be one of these things again. Right, is there a way to maybe delay it? Maybe if we, instead of locking this on, we go back to a falling edge. Oh. That didn't do it. Let's figure out why. Oh, because this turned off by the time this was powered. So what if we add some delay there as well? Turns on. Oh, we don't quite lock it on. Let's give it a little more delay. and let's just hope that works. Hey, there we go. All right, so yeah, that was a bit of a challenge. A lot of different things going on. On to the next one, level 8, Abracadabra. All right, we've got a lever up there. Down here we have a comparator. Let's look at what we got. We've got, looks like the lever is powering a torch, which is pushing this piston down. We've got a sticky block and sticky piston back there. And that block is powering these pistons down, which are all composters at value 1, powering these comparators and this AND circuit here, which is then got a piston, which will push over a block into this as a torch and opening our door. All right, so we have to find a way to turn this torch on. That means that middle one's gonna have to go off. Well, these side ones are both on. And it looks like that middle one has a delay. If we can we have to turn the middle ones, we have to turn them off and then turn them on again. It looks like. So first things first, we're gonna have to move this block out of the way to turn them off because we have to pull these up. Let's just, okay, that's not a sticky piston, so it didn't pull the block up. So we have to push this piston up somehow. And all I have is a comparator. But there is only a 1 block gap right here. And this will send an update, because this is a butted piston, because it has a power source 2 blocks above it. Problem is we need it to stay up. So we have to send it a quick pulse for like 2 updates. So there we go. So I just right click to change the mode, and then I immediately left click to break the thing. That sent 2 updates, and that got it stuck in the up position. Now these guys pulled up, but they didn't send an update to the comparators. These are all still on, but I can use the same trick. There we go. So I laid this down, and it passed an update to this one, which then realized it wasn't powered. And then that one seems to have passed an update to the one next to it, which did the same thing. Now, this one's already off, which we want. Now if we go back and we power this stuff again, this close piston should go down first, which will turn this one on, turning this off, turning that off, turning that on, and then a couple ticks later, 4 redstone ticks, the next one will go down and turn it back on. So let's just go back over here. We can do that with this piston up here. Ah, there we go. Now this pushed the block out, powering this, and we can go through. Nice. Level 9, remote control. Looks like we have another dropper here. We're going to get a reward of 1 tripwire hook if we can turn this off and back on again. And it looks like we've got some redundant fade out clocks here, coming from over here from these 2 torches. It looks like we have to find a way to turn these torches off for a long period of time. We can make it a little shorter maybe. And then this will fade out, and then when it turns back on, we'll get our tripwire hook, which will be presumably used for something. Okay, so we got some items in here. And what do we got? We've got a composter, a cauldron, a hopper with nothing in it, and a trapdoor that we can't interact with. All right, so we need to turn this one off and that one off. What if we, like this, place this down because this will be a solid block when it's closed. And then like that. There, we turn this one off. And then we have to turn this one off, so we can't place redstone on that. Oh. And as soon as we place it on this, it activates the door and doesn't work. All right, but we can go like this and put a repeater over here. So we've got the power into this block, into this redstone, and then over into this repeater, which doesn't trigger the trapdoor. But then we're stuck again with the redstone here. So, and we can only place redstone on, we can only place, yeah. All right, so we can place the repeaters on the cauldron and the composter like that. But we can't place it on, we can't place the redstone on those. And we can't place the redstone here. So there's got to be a redstone here somehow. All right, so what if we took power from one of these other torches? We went like this. And from this one, power that there. And then come over like that. Ah, but that's a solid block, so it opens that up. All right, so maybe we do the same thing over here. Have this facing into that. Then goes over, turns this off, which then swerves back around and turns this off. All right, so now we've got all these off here. Oh, we have to turn it back on, so let's just bust that. And that should have given us a tripwire hook. Now we've got another gap here. Got to get across. And let's just see what we can see over there besides barrier blocks. So it looks like this is going to be some sort of flying machine, just because I'm seeing the slime or the honey and the face of the thing, and then we've got a piston back there with another one. And I see a tripwire hook back there. So, and it looks like that's a butted piston again, as we see the redstone block up and into an angle of that piston, and then we've got some slime blocks. So it looks like we have to update that tripwire hook, and I have one in my hand. So what if I think it's lined up here? Pick this up. Oop, gotta shift click it on there. Yep. All right. All right, and we ride this honey. Nice. Wow, I'm lucky I got that. So yeah, the problem with honey is you can't jump on it. So in order to jump over that block, you have to be like off the honey. So you got to be like over here. So you still don't fall, but the center of your, just hit F5 here. You could see like the center of my body is off the edge. That's the only way you can jump while you're on top of honey blocks here, to jump over that. Oh, look, and we missed the bed again. Yeah, maybe you want to grab that before you try this jump. All right, so next one, we have level 10 clipboard. All right, so got a bunch of pistons again, and a bunch of stuff in the floor, and there's a gap with a trap door that looks like it goes down to the next level there. So we have to get into that trap door. It looks like this is one of those slide puzzle things. So if we, say, move the redstone block, right now I'm just trying to shift it around. Now we got a gap there, and we need the gap to be here so we can slide this one over. So we'll pull it back. That in, this over, make a gap. Now when I push this, actually I could pull this one. All right, so now this is here. And it looks like we have to power it with the redstone block, but the only way to do that is to put it over the top here. We have to both be, like, we have to do this number. But that pushed me up. All right, so let's move these over like that. This side. Oh, maybe if I crouch. Nope, that didn't work. We see which way the thing is flipping. I think it's flipping this way or to this side. All right, so maybe got clipboard here. So maybe if we clip into it, I mean, that's what we're trying to do here, but oh, there we go. So I just jumped up, and then as I was falling, I clicked on the thing. So since I wasn't on the ground yet, it didn't clip me up. It kept doing my fall. And that was enough time to push the redstone block into position to open the trapdoor. So it looks like we fell down, and then this got blocked off, and it cleared our inventory. All right, so next up, we have level 11 here. This is called Inception, and we see we've got an item frame in there, but there's nothing in it. All right, and then we have this disaster of stuff over here. Well, let's just start and work our way backwards. We've got a door, which is being held shut by a torch here, which doesn't seem to be attached to anything. It also has a line coming down here, which looks like it's held on. And this stuff back here is also holding it on. So it looks like there's a bunch of things that we have to turn off in this level. So first, let's just see what we have available. All right, so I see we've got a shulker box in a item frame up there. We've got a chest here, which we can't access. Nothing down here. Got a shulker box here, but that's empty. Got another chest we can't access. Got a minecart, and looks like we have another item frame underneath it. And a rail. It looks like that item frame is in the rail. Makes sense. We've got an item frame in a sign over here, and the name of the level is Inception. So we have to get that. That's the only thing I can see. And we have a button here, but that's not doing anything. Oh, this is butted here, so if I click that quickly. Oh, there we go. Didn't really do anything though. Everything's still in the same position. Okay, so that just resets. So we have to get up there. One way I could do it, looks like I could climb on the ladder, jump on the open box, and then up there, but, yep. Okay, so that's a normal minecart, so we can just right-click to get in. Jump up here, get our box, and now we want to get into this thing over here somehow. So to do that, we need to turn off this piston. So let's just see how it's powered again. All right, so it's powered by this, which is, we've done that. However, it's still leaving the rail in that position, so we don't actually want to do it that way. So since this isn't actually receiving power, we could use this to cut off the stuff there. Now it's powered though. Because we updated that. All right, so if we take that back, what if we cut it off here? Ah, there we go. All right, so this cart's still in the way. All right, there we go. Now we've got a rail. What can we do with a rail and one of these? And let's see. So let's try to get in one of these other chests now. This chest being powered as this piston pushing the thing over. So if we can unpower it, we have to unpower this torch. To unpower this torch, we have to put power into this block. We can do that from this. Okay, so we also have an inventory here, which we can put an item in. All right, so that powered this, unpowered the torch, pulled this back. Now I can see what's in here. Item frame. Okay. Let's grab this. Oh, but that might cause a problem. Let's pull that back over, and then we can break this. Ah, we break this, then this falls down, and we can still read out of a container with this guy through that solid block, and then it's not locked anymore. All right, so now we need to get into this chest. Well, first off, let's see what we have. We have a rail, we have a shulker box, and item frame. So the rail can actually probably come over here. And we've got a mine cart. Let's actually go get that mine cart. There we go. Tricky. Mine cart. Push this over here onto this rail. Oop. Alright, so we're on the rail now. And we're powering. So this turned off. So we got one of those done. And I still don't have anything that can handle that. So we have to turn this torch off, which means we have to get power through here. It means we have to get power into this comparator here. And those are both on subtract, so we either have to turn this power off or get those to unpower somehow, or get enough power through here. But we can see this is 8 and 7, so even if we had 15 power coming in there, we'd still subtract the whole 15 before getting over. So we're definitely going to have to unpower these somehow. And they're getting power from this, which is getting power from an inaccessible composter back there. Not going to be able to turn that. Well, I do have a chest, so if I go like this, yeah, see, that turns it off. That at least turns some of it off. If I get rid of that, oh, see, that turns back on, but it could do both of these. All right, so we need to get into this chest, first of all. So we've got, this piston has to retract for us to do that, which means this has to be off. These are off. Means we have to turn this one off. Means this torch has to turn off, which means this has to turn on. So if we put something... Ah, but then it turns this one on. So when we turn this torch off, by powering this, we're also powering this, which then keeps that powered. All right, so we need a way to turn this torch off and this one off as well. And we do have an item frame, and we see the item frames clipped over there, and it was clipped into the thing here. So maybe we can, like this. But we want this to be off, so let's pull that out of there. All right, so that's off now. Now what if we power this? Hey, there we go. So now this comparator is powering this block with less than 15 signal strength, but it's enough to turn off the torch. And since this comparator pulls priority from the inventory rather than the power that's less than 15, it will also turn off. So now we've got access to this. We've got a lever in here. All right, that makes sense. That probably goes there. Now we've got 2 of them. All right, so how then do we use the rest of this stuff? I don't think we can put enough items in this double chest to ever get more than 1 signal strength out of there, because I only have a few items. And while this is unstackable, I think you need more than a stack and 3 to get 2. And then that still wouldn't even solve the other problems. So, yeah. Actually, we need this back too, because we don't need to get into that chest anymore. And all right, so using the same mechanic, I see, look at this. We can put it in here because this chest is not a full block. And we can throw this in there. And if we spin it a few times, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think that's the max. All right, so we can get power in here. But now we have to turn this off. And I tried using, if we break this, we can do one of these numbers, right? Maybe I have to, because this hasn't detected that there's a thing here yet, so I have to send an update, so maybe I have to do this one second. Or whatever one's not the thing. Oh, didn't work. Maybe if I go like this, and then pop it out. Yeah, there we go. Then I could turn this off. Then we're back to square one because we don't have any power coming out of this. So the only other thing we have is this setup. But I don't think we can power it there, which means we're probably going to have to use this, that position. And we're going to have an item in it. So the question is, which item is it going to be? I guess we have that, but there's no way that this is going to stay in its position. Once we get it set, there's no sort of like memory latch that I can see. So this has to stay there. All right, so let's just see what we can do with this rail here. If I throw that down. Okay, so it does detect that as an inventory and it turns off. However, now I'm missing the rail over here, so I'm going to need to get that back. Take that back. It actually stays off. Interesting. All right, so if I take this, that turns that one back on. But if I put a rail down, turns it off. Nice. All right, so both of these are off. Now I have to the rail back here, and I have to put the box in here and spin it. Ah, but that updated this. As soon as I got the power here, this one updated this one. All right, so let's first spin this up to 8. Then we'll go grab the rail again. It seemed to have suppressed it when we broke the thing. And we'll turn that off, which updated this one and turned this one on. So it looks like we just have to do it in the right order here. We have to power this and then place the rail here, break it, and then place the rail here. Yep, which turn this off, turn that off, and now we should be able to break it without it updating. Nice. Then we can come back over here, throw it down, push the cart onto the rail. Hey, there we go. All right, so now we've got the lever here. We've got these kind of glitched in the off state, and we've got a item in an item frame in the chest, creating power to go through. All right, that was a tricky one. For this one, level 12, we got, it's called Piece of Cake, and we've got some cake and a piston. And it looks like there's some obsidian here, so we're probably going to be pushing stuff around. Level reset, okay. Here's the door. We've got redstone locking it. And then over here, we've got a target block, which I guess is just straightening the redstone. We've got some comparators coming from a solid block. So we got 15 signal strength coming in here. And then we've got some comparators on the other side of this stuff facing into those. And I see one on subtract. It looks like we're going to have to subtract the cake from that one somehow. And honey isn't a solid block, so we're not going to be able to read out the comparator through there. And then we have to compare, I guess, with the other cake. So we have to subtract 14 from 15, giving it 1. And then we compare 14 to 1, which is 1 is less than 14, so it'll give out nothing. We have to have a cake here and a cake here. We can do cake like that, right? That brings it down to 1 signal strength. And if I... see, it's still powered. Hey, there we go. Don't think that's how this one's supposed to work. So I'll fix this in the update, but that is not the intended solution. So I'm just going to quickly show you what the intended solution is. You should only have, you should have 2 cakes, but the intended solution is to use the mechanic here with the slime blocks. I'll fix this, but this is what the solution will be. So you have these, and they can't actually pull because the slime is attached to the lime concrete, and the lime concrete is pulling against this obsidian. That's why when we extend it and pull it back, it won't actually pull back. But if we place a cake up here, it won't break the cake. Normally a cake needs to be supported or it'll break, so this will give us solid power here. And then what we can do is we can take, and we can just move this over here and place that one like that. But apparently these guys don't get updates, so I'll have to make a way for those to get constantly updated, so you can't cheese it like that. But yeah, that's the solution there, and we'll move on to the next one. All right, so last one, level 13, crisscross. We look back here, we've got some sort of game board here. Make a circuit on the white wall to connect the color-coded lines. Stand here to test your circuit. You need to pass 9 consecutive tests to complete the level. All right, so I'm standing on the pressure plate here, which looks like it charges the circuit. I go stand on it. All right, so it looks like it has a Joker box randomizer here. That's choosing, looks like it's choosing a random thing there with a red coder, which corresponds to the lines up here. So what it wants us to do is cross this signal from here, whatever color over here, to the same color over here. So magenta has to go up in a diagonal like that, yellow has to go straight across, and orange has to go in a diagonal down. And it looks like we have a number of materials to make that circuit, so I'm just going to take these. Right. Actually pick. Now, we've got a lot of stuff here, and this is definitely going to be a complicated one, so play around with it a bit. I am kind of going to go directly for the solution because I know what it is, and otherwise it'll take way too long. But yeah, there may be more than one solution. This is just the one that I found. And in terms of hints, I would suggest doing the orange last because quasi-connectivity makes it easy to pass signals downwards through things rather than across or upwards. So first off, let's try to do the yellow. Yeah, let's do the yellow. So we've got dropper there. Put a hopper on the face of it. So now when the pulse comes through here. We'll just throw an item in there for now. So it'll pulse the item into the hopper, and then we can read that out. Probably through a block here. And then we'll have to take the readout with one of the comparators got here. We'll get back to that in a sec. And then going up, we're going to have to cross over somewhere. So I think that's a good opportunity for sticky piston there. And then we'll have that, and we can read through that. But we're also going to have to cross the signal down. So I think what we'll do is take an observer here. And we could put the sand on top of that. Right? And now we can read the signal through the sand coming this way, the yellow, without disturbing that. Our purple signal will come toward this, which will push that up and go over there. And then our orange signal will have to come down through here, through the observer, and then to there. Let's just build that up real quick. So we got... just show what we got so far. Right, so that'll kick something out, and then we'll read it out through there. And magenta will push this up. All right, we're not going to do that right now. All right, so we can detect the wall change like that. And then if we use an observer, come in here, place it like that. All right, so that should be magenta done. Then we need a way to transfer the signal down without disturbing that. So let's start with we're going to put a piston on that top. That. So this will pulse out, and then we can observe it. And we'll pulse through this, which shouldn't trigger that guy. And it shouldn't affect this because it's already not going to have an item in it, and we're not detecting the signal anywhere. And we can then quasi-power dropper here with that observer, which will then power through here. And we can power another piston like that. So then we're not powering a solid block, so it doesn't update this guy. And then need to observe that. So and then we need to cross this stuff over. Oh, I need something to stand at. What do we put in here? Ah, all right. Just going to stand on this. Oop. That's what this pick's for. All right, because we got to pass this over like that. And then this is another supporting block, and we could throw that in there. Going across, and then this needs an item, so we'll throw the pick in there. All right, let's test this out. The one thing I'm concerned about is when this one fires up there, we'll be triggering the piston, and not only triggering the magenta, but the orange as well. And you're only allowed to trigger the exact one that went off. The orange comes down. Nice, we got one score. Yellow goes across. Nice, and purple. Ah, so the observer didn't actually trigger that when it pushed up and back down. Interesting. When it goes up, it looks like it goes off, but for some reason, it's pulled out of the way before it finishes. And so it never triggers this piston here. And then when it comes back down, it's on cooldown. All right, so we got our 9 successes, and we got our fanfare at the end. So that is the end of this map. Thanks for watching, and I hope you give it a try. Hopefully you don't get stuck too much. And yeah, tell me what you think in the comments below.